Hey, it's Jess, and today I have a speed build for you all. This speed build is like New England style retail street. I don't know how else really to describe it because only one store here is actually a retail store. The rest are like a restaurant and a cafe and a bar. So it's a lot of different lots all in one, and I have made it so you can make it into any lot you want, basically. It has all the requirements for a cafe, all the requirements for a restaurant, for a bar, for a retail store, and for a apartment as well, except for a mailbox. But you can add that in if you want. I don't think it's really the best to play as an apartment, but it's there. As far as what it is on the gallery, it is uploaded, I believe, as a bar, but you can change it into whatever you want. So to describe this a bit, I have made this for a save file, which it's not your typical save file in the sense of, you just build a bunch of cute places and you upload it and you play it. The save file has a specific function, which is inspired by the Silent Pines save file by Cosmosims. Maybe you guys know that save file, maybe you don't. Basically, the save file has a mystery in it. So I don't remember the details exactly, but in that save file, you take a sim and you put them in the game and you try and solve a mystery of a missing girl. And you don't really know anything. I mean, you know that she's missing, you don't know if she's dead or alive, and you basically solve the case. And I have yet to complete the case, but I have played the game. It is amazing. It is base game only, so if you're interested in it, you don't have to have a bunch of packs for it. I will say this save file that I'm making does require packs because I wanted to build it in Riddleton Bay because it's my favorite world and it has that cozy New England vibe, small town, and I really like the world, and I didn't want to limit myself to base game because I'm not good enough of a builder for that. When I build base game only houses, they look scary, very scary. I've built lots for the entirety of Willow Creek and Oasis Springs, and they're fine, but they're not great. And even saying that, some of the lots I let myself do base game and one pack. So even then, I'm just not good enough of a builder to pull off base game only. But I'm good enough to use the packs that I do have. I don't have all the packs, so you don't need all the packs to play this build, but you do need kind of the major ones. I have most of the expansion packs except for, I'm trying to think of all the ones that are currently out. I don't have Growing Together or For Rent, Horse Ranch, basically any of the new ones, and I don't have Eco Lifestyle. Speaking of expansion packs, I want to know what you guys think of the new Life and Death expansion pack, because I have looked at it and saw the trailer, watched it all, and I know a lot of people are really excited, but I just don't feel the same way. It's kind of underwhelming. I like the idea of having funerals, but there's already mods for funerals. That's not something that I need. I already have it. And I don't know, it doesn't seem to fit my gameplay style. They're leaning a little too heavily on kind of the culty side of it, which is fine. I know a lot of people like that gameplay, and I'm happy for them for having that gameplay. But I like more realistic styles of gameplay, as this save might show, because it's like a true crime murder mystery rather than, vampires and ghosts. Like, you can't talk with the ghosts of dead people, if that makes sense. But yeah, it looks really nice. It looks like it has a lot of stuff in it, which is saying something for the Sims. Lately, expansion packs have felt like game packs with how little content they have. But, maybe it will surprise me. I'm probably not gonna buy it right away. If I ever get it, it's gonna be on sale. Anyways, that's enough about the new expansion pack. Let's talk a bit more about this save file. I have currently called it the Haven's Hollow save file. I don't think I'm going to keep that because that's like what I'm calling Brindleton Bay. Brindleton Bay in my save file is not called Brindleton Bay, it's called Haven's Hollow. So if I call the save file Haven's Hollow, that only includes Brindleton Bay, and I kind of want to do a mystery for each world at some point. For now, it's just Brindleton Bay / Haven's Hollow, which is, that quiet, cozy New England town where nothing bad has ever happened, and if it has, it's all like an accident. No like murders or like kidnappings, missing persons. It's just a cozy small town where nothing bad ever happens. So when something bad does happen, it kind of shakes up the whole town. Now, when I say that, I have created a sim. Well, I have yet to create her, but I've created the idea of a sim called Corine Sanford, who at the beginning of like the save file, I guess, has been missing for 2 weeks. And you enter the game as kind of a detective who has been asked to come to Haven's Hollow and solve her disappearance because, this tiny town only has a small police force. They've never dealt with a missing persons case. They've dealt with very small issues. So this is totally out of their wheelhouse. But she has been missing for 2 weeks. There's a bunch of, suspects. She has an ex-boyfriend. She has an academic rival. She has a stalker. She has, kind of poor relationships with her parents and her twin sister. So there's a bunch of people that could have, been involved in her disappearance. Or maybe it was just a runaway case. We don't know. That's for you to find out once I actually finish this save. But I decided to start with a community lot because, I don't know, I just wanted to build a community lot, I guess. This lot was really fun to make, actually. I took inspiration from a picture I found on Pinterest or Google. I think it was of New York, which isn't technically New England, but it fit the vibe that I was going for. And I did tweak a few things about the building because, it's The Sims. Some things are not available to us in the game. Like these different heights of buildings kind of look awkward in The Sims because of the fact that all wall heights have to be exactly the same, and you could kind of get away with doing half walls and platforms, but it's just not going to be the same as real life, which is sad, but, I tried to make it work. And as I said before, we have a cafe in the far left. That was embarrassing. We have a cafe in the far left building, which includes the first 2 floors of the building, and then there is an apartment on the 3rd floor. Now that apartment, I imagine the woman who runs the cafe lives in full time. And I'm trying to think of the name I gave her. I think she's called Maggie. And she's a cute little old lady, kind of that eccentric grandma vibe. I don't think she has any children. Kind of old lady with a few cats, though she doesn't have any cats. Maybe she had cats in the past, but they all died because she's old now. And her cafe is really cute, really cozy, kind of more bright and colorful than the rest of the lot. We also have in the middle building, that's where the restaurant is. It takes up not the first 2 floors, both floors. There's only 2 floors. It's a very small restaurant, kind of, it's not your nicest restaurant. It's a seafood restaurant right on the edge of the water. You get fresh fish, so it's really nice in that regard. But it's not expensive. It doesn't have the best furnishing. There is another restaurant I'm planning for this world that's a lot nicer, basically. And in the last building, the one that's a little bigger, it's split in half. And on the bottom floor, there is a bookstore. And also the stairwell to get up into the second floor, which is the bar. So that has a lot. It has a lot in it. It was a lot to build. I'm saying a lot. Anyways, currently I am just building outside. I had a lot of trouble with this building in particular, doing the back of it and the side of it. I had no idea what I was doing. I ended up figuring it out, and I think it looks halfway decent, maybe. But I struggled a lot with doing some of the furnishings, especially the wallpaper. I think I cut out the entirety of me doing the wallpaper in this build because it was just I had so many problems trying to do the wallpaper. I don't know why I was struggling so much. I think I spent 30 to 40 minutes figuring out the wallpaper and flooring situation. It was slightly embarrassing how long I did that, so I cut it out. I think I also cut out some of the debug furnishing because the way I build debug, I go through the whole list and just place items I like in the front of the lot, which is not interesting to watch. So I cut out some of the debug stuff. But for the most part, I kept everything else in, including me struggling with the windows and the sides and the back and the floor plan. I struggled a lot with this build. I'm not good at building community lots. I'm decent at building cute little suburban houses that are exactly the same every single time. But building community lots, I am not good at. I struggle a lot with floor plans and figuring out how to make them look decent, which is also saying something because I decided for some reason to have 4 different community lots on one lot, which is fun. It's fun. But yeah, let's go back into my idea for this save file because, the Silent Pines save file, I like it a lot and it's really interesting and fun. But one of the things I struggle with is it's hard to figure out how to do the mystery. And they have addressed this. They're working on making a case file for the next version so that solving the mystery is a little easier and a little more straightforward, which I will be thankful for. But using that idea of the case file, I have started creating my own case file. And the mechanics for this case file are very detailed. A lot of the mystery solving is done through the case file. You do stuff in game and it unlocks parts of the case file for you to read and learn about. So for this case file, there's investigations, interviews, what is it called? Interrogations. You can find different clues, and I put a lot of work and effort into creating this. I mean, if no one downloads it and plays the mystery, I don't care, because, I'm having fun. I am a mystery writer on my own time, so this is just something I'm doing for fun, and it's a little shame that I won't be able to play the mystery when it comes about, but, it's all good. So yes, this case file is very detailed. I already have so many pages and I haven't even written some of the stuff up. I have diary entries from Corine, the missing person. I have, newspaper articles that you can read through the library. I have a bunch of interrogations of different suspects throughout the world. And there's also different endings to this mystery, to how you solve the case. There's ways that you can play that end up with you not solving the case, having it go unsolved. There's ways you can play where you learn different degrees of the mystery. So that, I think that's a fun mechanic, that it's not the same exact ending every single time. Now, because of the fact that there are multiple endings in this mystery, it also gives a replayable function. The mechanics of this case file make it so that you can only discover about 2/5 of the clues that are available in the case file during one playthrough. So if you want to replay, you can look at new clues, maybe get a different ending, a more satisfying one. This being said, when I say different endings, I don't mean that there's different reasons why she went missing. The reason she went missing, that mystery, it is one full mystery. It's just about how much of the mystery you uncover. Whether you don't solve it at all, whether you solve a little bit of it, or if you solve all of it. I think I have currently 7 endings planned for this save file. I might make it more, might make it less. I probably won't make it less. I'm comfortable with the 7 I have now. I might make it more, maybe have more than one ending where it goes unsolved, something like that. But I'm really proud of the story that I've created this far. I have not completed it. I mean, I know the mystery, I know the final, who done it, where she is, if she's dead or not. I know that answer. It's just about finishing all of the details. I have a bunch of things to write, like interviews with different townspeople. You can interview every single person I've added to Haven's Hollow, even the ones who are not present in the world, like all the people who own these businesses. I have, Maggie, who I said owns the cafe, Cherie, who is actually Corine's aunt, owns the restaurant, and then Lily and Otto Hartman, who are married, own the bookstore and the bar. They are all they're not in the world, but they're in the game. So when you go into the manage households, it says currently not in world, but you can interview them in the case file. Some of the people not in world, you can also do interrogations and that stuff. Things you can't do are investigating their homes, because they don't live in the world. They're just Sims I've added as extras. But there's so much you can do during this case file. I have made the time limit for it be 2 weeks. So the idea is you enter this world when it is the beginning of fall, and it's almost Halloween, which is Corine's favorite holiday, so it's really strange that she's not home. It's why would she be a runaway if it's her favorite season? She also doesn't have any of the signature marks of being a runaway. This is why the police don't think she ran away. They think she was taken. It's because she is your very typical sweet girl. She gets good grades, she volunteers at the vet clinic, she tutors kids at school. Think of the sweetest person you knew in high school. That's her. Okay. She has none of the marks of wanting to be a runaway. So they're kind of confused. Where could Corine have gone? Who could have taken her? This has never happened in Haven's Hollow before. It's a small, cute New England town. Why would this happen? Now, what was I even talking about before? I've lost my train of thought. But basically, yes, a lot of different mechanics. You can interview everyone in town at least once. There's different, requirements for everything. So interviews, you have to run into the person in game. You can't just interview whoever the hell you want. You know, you have to run into them in game, and then you can go to the case file and look at all that fun stuff, see what they tell you about Corine. There are also in-home interviews with characters who are present in the world, and for that, you have to meet different requirements in order to be able to go into their home and interview them. Same with interrogations. You need to unlock interrogations through interactions with different people, I guess different sims in game. So I put so much work into creating this case file, and there's still so much to do. I have to write all for diary entries, I have to write all the interrogations, all the interviews, I have to write the articles, I have to build her profile for the original case file you get from the sheriff. So I have a lot left to do still, but you know, I also have to build the entire world and put in all the physical clues in game, which is something that will not be present in the speed builds that I do of the save file. When I'm doing the save file, I'm just building the base. And then I will go back through, I will add all the sneaky little clues that you look for when you play through the case file. And things I'm also going to add that are not going to be in the gallery upload or the speed build of these builds are, one, debug objects that I'm going to take off lot with tool. You know, Brindleton Bay already is a pretty full world. It's not like Willow Creek or Oasis Springs, which feel very empty. Brindleton Bay feels very full. There's a lot of trees, there's a lot of buildings, there's a lot of life. But I think there is still some stuff that can be added to make it feel more real, more interesting, and there might be some clues that are off-lot. I haven't decided that yet because it might get a little confusing if I do off-lot clues, but I don't know, I think it could be fun to take stuff off-lot. And yeah, that's my general idea. Oh, I'm also going to add Halloween decorations or like Thanksgiving decorations, just fall decorations to the world because that is the time of year it is set in. And, you know, the whole town is really, really into Halloween and Thanksgiving, or I guess like Harvest Fest, whatever you want to call it, in The Sims. So, yeah, that's things I'm going to add that are not in the speed build and are not in the gallery upload, but will be in the final save file, if that makes sense. I hope that does. But yes, it's set at the beginning of fall, right before, you know, Halloween and Thanksgiving, and the calendar is set to 2 weeks. So this does kind of rely on having seasons installed. I guess it's not necessary, but I add so much stuff from seasons anyways that it feels so. But you have 2 weeks to solve the mystery. I have put in the case file that if you're struggling, you can change it to the 28 days, which gives you 4 weeks. But that does seem like a really long time. I kind of want you to be challenged, and everything can be completed within the 2 weeks. I've made sure that you can complete everything you need to in order to get the full mystery solved within 2 weeks. It will be difficult and a little challenging, but that's what makes it fun. I don't see any reason to make it super easy to do this kind of thing, you know? Maybe that's just me. I'm going to playtest it once I have everything finished, and if it seems really, really difficult to do in 2 weeks, I might tweak. Anyways, let's talk about the actual build now. I have started on the inside of the cafe. You, a few minutes ago, would have seen me really, really struggling with the back of this lot. I tried to put these, like, banners hanging between plants, and it was really cute, but it didn't fit with the size of the lot that I made, and I struggled a lot with that, but I ended up keeping them because I like the vibes of them. It felt correct. Yes, inside here, the cafe. I don't have any names for like the cafe, restaurant, bar, bookstore yet. So if you have ideas and want to share them, go ahead, because, you know, even though I can't name the lot, the entire thing, I'd like to be able to name, you know, each individual thing, like store its own name right now, I can't even remember what I set the lot name to in the final save file. It's not what I uploaded to the gallery. I uploaded to the gallery like New England Retail Street or something similar to that, retail stores. It will be like the first thing on my gallery. Now, when I put this like in the actual save file, I named it like Tidewater Street 301 or something like that, street names, because I want it to be a little more realistic that way. Put street names for everything rather than bar, police station, post office. I think it's more realistic to have the street names, and then in the description maybe put like Havens Hollow Police Department, which I am planning to do the police department as, I guess, the police station as my next speed build. It's going to be on the lot right next to this, the first pier lot. I have no idea how I'm going to build it. I don't know what it's going to look like. I haven't planned anything yet, but that is the next idea. And I'm going off on another tangent. Anyways, yes, the cafe, I made it kind of green and white, very cutesy, very cozy. It was kind of the place that you want to come in, you want to buy a cute, way too sugary pastry, and go upstairs and sit and read. That's kind of the idea I had. This cute little old lady owns this place. She runs it completely by herself. She bakes everything herself. That's how I imagine it. And, it's a staple place in the town. I think maybe, I don't know if the teenagers would come here, but, I feel like the adults frequent this establishment. That's my idea. I did struggle with space. Here, all the areas are very small, so it's hard to fit a lot of stuff in. And when you're trying to make 4 different community lots in one lot, it gets cramped. But I think the crampedness it works. It's small, it's New England, it's not supposed to be big and spacious. These are really old buildings. They're not new buildings that were built for the intention of being a cafe and a restaurant and a bar and a bookstore. These were originally built for, I feel like, living quarters, probably. That's what I imagine. I don't have any experience with New England. I've never been. I wish I have. I've been plenty of other places, but not New England, and I really want to go. So all of this is based off of kind of media I've seen and pictures I've seen. And speaking of which, one of the 2 main inspirations for this one, Gilmore Girls. I love Gilmore Girls. It's probably not my favorite TV show, but it's up there. I've rewatched it about 5 million times. I love it so much that several years during New Year's, I'll restart the show right at midnight, which sounds so nerdy, but that's how much I love the show. So, the fall vibes have inspired this place. Gilmore Girls does have kind of that small town New England vibe, but I'm not going quite as small and quite as cozy. I mean, maybe I will. I don't know. Gilmore Girls is definitely a main inspiration for this. I love, cozy, small vibes, but obviously this is a murder mystery. So, I guess it's not technically a murder mystery. It's a, how would you call it? The genre, missing persons mystery. What do you do with that? Missing persons mystery. So obviously that is not inspired by Gilmore Girls. Gilmore Girls is very much slice of life. The drama is not as drastic as missing person, possibly killed, where is she? Is she dead? That's not Gilmore Girls. But what that is inspired by is Pretty Little Liars, one of also my favorite TV shows. It's ridiculous and I adore it, but more inspired by the books because I'm currently reading the books. I've never read them before. I finished the first one how long ago? It's gotta be a couple weeks now. And I'm currently reading the second one on my library app. And I'm obsessed. It's so good. It's so much better than TV show already. Which, maybe that is a little presumptuous because I'm only on the second book. But it feels a lot more cohesive than the TV show. I do love the TV show. I've seen the TV show once in full, and then they took it off Netflix, and I couldn't watch it for a while, but then they put it on Hulu, so I could watch it again. I'm rewatching it currently as well while I read the books. That is also, Rosewood is a very small, cozy New England town. I guess, is Philadelphia New England? I don't know how that works, but it's got more of that creepy vibe. Like, it looks very sweet and cozy on the outside, but in reality, there's dark, sinister stuff happening, which is more the inspiration that I want. So yes, I've been reading the books. The second one, I believe, is called Flawless. So far, so much better than the TV show. It's so ridiculous. I will never get over Arya biting Ezra's hand. What do you mean? Why was that not in the TV show? Like, it's so funny. Sarah Shepherd just makes it so funny and so enjoyable. And I adore it so far. I adore the books. They're amazing. But one thing I will say about the books is that they have a lot of, not issues, I don't like how they rewrote the books to fit a modern audience. I wanted to read the original, and I did read the first half of the first book as the original with the original 2000s references. Phenomenal. But then, the whole thing with archive.org happened, and HarperCollins books were no longer available on archive.org, so I couldn't read the Pretty Little Liars books anymore, so I had to go through my library app, which is fine, but it has the rewritten books with the, 2020s references, and it's so weird to read Pretty Little Liars and have the girls, watch TikToks and Riverdale and Squid Game, and you're just like, what is happening? Like, the book is so inherently 2000s that it feels so strange to have everything be, modern for the references, and it really pisses me off. But, I can't complain because I'm reading these books for free on a library app. So I can't complain that, I wish they had the older versions, because, I get to read them for free. If I wanted the older version so bad, I could go out and buy them. But I'm not. So yes, this is heavily inspired by the Pretty Little Liars books. It doesn't have the same, who is A? And these girls are being, basically stalked and harassed by this mysterious character. There's none of that. But reading that, experiencing the Pretty Liars books for the first time has heavily inspired my creation of Haven's Hollow. Haven's Hollow is kind of very similar to Rosewood in vibes alone, I feel like. But yeah, Pretty Little Liars has been a big inspiration. So has Gilmore Girls, so has the Silent Pines save file. Those are the main inspirations for this world. And now we're going up to the apartment that is above the cafe. This apartment has a bit of a different vibe. It doesn't have the white and green, very sweet, almost too sweet vibes. This is more of your traditional kind of New England apartment above a community lot. What's the word for that? I don't know, but it's more of, brown earth tones, cozy, kind of fall inspired. I do think the cafe is the least fall inspired community lot in this build. I feel like the restaurant, while not, directly fall inspired, has a lot of browns and greens. Same with the bar. It has a lot of reds, bricks, and, bookstores always give, autumnal vibes for me. Anytime I go into a bookstore, it's like I'm transported into fall, even if it's the middle of summer and it's 5,000 degrees outside. I do think the bookstore here is a used bookstore. That's what I get from it. I adore used bookstores. They're my favorite places to go. I have so many used books from one particular bookstore in Seattle when I used to live there. And oh, they're just so much fun. I love the way they smell, and now I'm showing how much of a book nerd I am, which, should have been evidence enough from the fact that I went out of my way to read the Pretty Little Liars books. But yeah, I love the bookstore. It's probably my favorite lot, like community area or store on this lot. I think they're all very cute, but the bookstore is my favorite. It is the smallest, so it's very tight, very compact, and based on the game mechanics, it's actually not really a bookstore because there's not really anything to buy book-wise within the store, which is why, the lot is set up as a bar instead of a bookstore, a retail lot, because there's nothing to buy. I do think this lot would be hard to run as a retail lot. But, do whatever you want. Like, this lot has all the requirements for every single lot type that I have built, except for residential. It would need mailbox. It would need a mailbox to do residential rental. But other than that, it literally has everything you need. It has all the stuff for a bar. And even in this, I have a TV in the apartment, but there's also a TV in the bar because a bar requires a TV, and having it in the apartment kind of gets rid of the reason to have that requirement. I don't know what I'm talking about. Also, this apartment, if you do want to use it as a residential lot, I have placed, I don't even remember what I placed. It was like a lamp or something. I've placed something in the stairwell to get up to the apartment so that when you visit this lot, there's not a bunch of people up here in the apartment. Because I thought it would be weird to have this big community lot, but everyone's, for some reason, up in the apartment watching TV on this poor old lady's, small TV in the place that she lives. So I haven't play tested it yet, but when I do play test it, I think people will not be able to get upstairs into the apartment. So if you want to get up there, you'll either need to remove that or teleport your Sims. And yeah, this apartment, I tried to add some of the greens and pinks that were in the general downstairs area, because just because she's in this older apartment doesn't mean she's not going to give it her own life. And she loves bright colors. She loves greens and blues and pinks and oranges. I think that's evident from the way she styled her cafe. But I'm doing the bedroom right now. I don't even remember doing this bedroom. I think it's cute. This is a very small apartment. Small bedroom, very small kitchen, living room. There's no dining room, and then the tiniest little bathroom. I think this could maybe work for 2 Sims, but might just be best for 1. If you're even going to play this as, residential lot. Because I think it's more fun to have the community lots in this build rather than the residential. But, it's uploaded for you to use as you please. Now, I'm going to go back into discussion of the save file real quick. This save file that I'm working on, Haven's Hallow, I don't know what to call it, and I touched on this a bit before. Right now I'm calling it the Haven's Hallow save file. That's what I'm calling it, because that is the world that I'm currently working on, and it'll be the world that I upload. I will upload the save file when Haven's Hallow is done. I'm not going to complete a mystery for every single world before I get put this out. 1 mystery per world. The Haven's Hallow mystery will be set completely in Brittle Bay. But I don't know if I should call it Haven's Hallow because I want to do different worlds. So right now the working name is Mystery Files, but it seems weird to have Mystery Files save file. That's file twice, but there's also case files within the Mystery Files. That's 3 files within 1 save file. It seems a little clunky to me right now. If you guys have ideas, opinions about kind of what title would be good for the save file, if you think Haven's Hallow works, or if you think Mystery Files works, or if you have a whole entire different idea. Now, this being said, think of it as not just this world. Like, also Sulani will have a mystery, so it can't be like a very specifically New England name, if that makes sense. So I want to make a mystery for each world. I also don't have all of the worlds. I have a few of them, but not all of them. And so that is going to make it a little interesting if you download the save when I finish it, because I am going to delete every single EA townie in-game. I think I already have, actually, now that I think about it. And I'm going to have every single world, besides, Brindleton Bay for this first version of the save file, be empty. But if you have a world that I don't have, like, say, the Realm of Magic world, you'll still have the Sims there. So I don't know how that will work. Maybe I'll end up getting all of the packs at some point and have all of the worlds. But as of currently, I don't. And right now I'm just going to focus on doing Brindleton Bay, Haven's Hollow. We'll see if I ever end up doing the other worlds, because, it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. But I'm enjoying myself so far. I've only done one build, and I've only started the case file. But I've already put so much effort into it, and I want to see it come into fruition. So I'm excited. And right now I'm working on the restaurant, which, as I said before, is not, this fancy restaurant where you sit down and you have, like, this cool waiter and it's really expensive. No, this is like a seafood restaurant. That's a little more of, like, a dive bar, but as a restaurant, if that makes any sense. It's right on the water, it has fresh fish, it's kind of, a local mom and pop restaurant. It's where all the locals go, but this probably isn't where visitors come, if that makes sense. And I really do like this restaurant. I have not set it up, because the lot I have set it up as in the game is a bar. I have not set the menu or, like, the dress style for this restaurant. So if you want it to actually function as a seafood restaurant, you'll have to go in and change that specifically. I don't know if I can, make this a restaurant, put all that stuff in, and then change it to a bar and it still have all of the things I did for the restaurant. I might check that out and re-upload this to the gallery, but if that isn't there, you know why. It's because if you change it from restaurant to a bar, all the restaurant stuff will change. I've never had to deal with that before. I've never done kind of this many community lots within one lot before. So, I don't know. But yes, the idea is that it's kind of a small seafood restaurant, fresh fish, kind of greasy, if that might be the best way to describe it. As I am building, I will say it looks a little empty when I finish the recording. But in the screenshots, you'll see that I add a bunch of, like, mounted fish on the walls in this restaurant specifically. I really wanted to have, like, pretty much all the mounted fish available in-game in this restaurant. The ones that look like they could be from New England. I didn't add, like, the tropical fish from Sulani, because that would make no sense. Why would they have tropical fish when they are, New England? They should have fish that are specific to that area. There are some fish that, obviously are not specific to the area, but they look enough like they could be. So any of the fish that were, like, brown and green, not as colorful, I had added to the walls of this place after I finished the recording. You'll see them in the screenshots, I believe. Hopefully. I think so. There's no reason you shouldn't. Speaking of, I'm very bad at taking screenshots of builds, and I'll warn you of that beforehand. I'm not very good at it. I don't know why I struggle so much with screenshots. I just can't get the angle right. If you guys have any tips for taking good build screenshots, let me know, because I'd like to take ones that aren't hideous at some point in life. Anyways, what else to talk about? We have this restaurant. It's owned by Corine's aunt. So it's her dad's older sister. She's unmarried. She has no kids. Pretty much her whole life has gone into this restaurant. I feel like, even though this is not actually in the game, I feel like she might have a crush on one of the waiters that works for her. I don't know, it just seems cute. It just seems cute that way. Anyways, this restaurant is very small, and I hope it functions correctly. As I said, I've yet to test this because I want to add all of the Halloween decorations, all of the debug objects off lot before I playtest. And if it ends up being a complete mess, I don't know what I'll do. Because I don't want to upload the lot with all of, the debug objects and the Halloween decorations, because that will just kind of clunk up the game. All of these debug objects off lot, I don't know if they are included in the gallery upload. I don't use Tool very often. It's something that's kind of new to me. And when I have used Tool, I've used it on lot to raise and change objects rather than using it to take objects off the lot. So it has been a learning process to start using Tool. I'm still very much new to it. But I'm learning, and hopefully I'll be able to populate Brindleton Bay with a bit more interesting objects. It's not going to be the same level as all these amazing save files where people have added all this interesting, debug objects around Willow Creek. I just don't have the skill set for that yet. Maybe I will as I continue building this save file. Maybe I'll get better at some point. But as of now, I have the skills that I currently have, and they're not very fantastic. Anyways, I don't know what else to talk about. We're moving on to, I think, the bookstore. As I said, used bookstore, probably, that's not actually a mechanic in the game, sadly. But I imagine it to be a bunch of used old books with nice leather covers. They have that old book smell. You walk in and it's just books. I'm a book nerd. I love books so much. I love to use bookstores. They're my favorite place on earth, probably. I don't have any good ones around me currently, which is really sad. I kind of have to just use the library or go to Barnes & Noble, which is a little depressing. No, it's fine. I don't need new books. I have around 300 books at this point, and I have so many I have yet to read. And yet I go and I use my library app to read different books. I have problems. I do have problems. But yeah, I don't have any good ones around me right now. I've tried looking for some, but they're all kind of bad and depressing, and they're more modern used books rather than old used books. Which is fine. Whoever needs books can get books. That came out weird, but I do like older used books. If I'm going to get a used book, I want it to be nice and leather bound or, cloth bound. Have it be at least, I like to do 1970s or older for my used books. Now I'm just sounding like a snob, which, I probably am. And if I'm getting, newer books, I'd prefer them to be new. But, I'm not made of money, so maybe I should stop being a snob about it. And I don't know what else to talk about. I've kind of gone over the basics of the save file. I don't really want to get into any of the details until we start doing stuff like Corine's house. When we do the speed build for Corine's house, I'll talk more about her backstory and her diary, which is a big part of the save file. Her diary is one of the instrumental aspects of solving the case. As you read her diary, you'll figure out kind of her state of mind, what she was doing right before she went missing. Her diary is, I think, was started a year before she went missing. You know, she's done diaries her whole life, but this is like the new diary for the year. And that is a big part of the case file. But I'm not going to go into it until we get to, you know, her house, or like when I do her boyfriend's house, I'll talk about him and their relationship. I guess ex-boyfriend, technically ex-boyfriend. And I'll talk more about the people in the town when we get to their houses and stuff. But, you know, as far as the people who own these retail shops and like restaurants, bars, cafes, they aren't too instrumental to the storyline. The most important one is Corine's aunt, and even still, she's not that important. I think she has one interview in the case file, and that's it. You know, she's not a person of interest. And the people who own the other retail shops here are also not people of interest in the case file. There's a lot more emphasis on people who live in the world. There are a few Sims, like there's a creepy old man who is a little more of interest, who doesn't live in the world. But for the most part, most suspects, most, you know, integral case file information, the way you're going to solve the mystery is talking to people who live in the world. But, yeah. What else to talk about? I had a weird dream the other night. This is like so off topic, but I don't know if you guys watch Claire Chabon or watched her. She is probably my favorite Sims YouTuber. I adore her videos. I watched her for years. There's been like a hole in my heart now that she's no longer making videos, which I think is why I have started making videos. Because there's no one really around that, you know, scratches that Claire itch. That was a weird way to put it. I'm sorry. But I had a weird dream the other night. And I dreamt that she came back on a live stream and started doing a live stream of, I don't remember if it was The Sims or Skyrim, but it was one of the two. And in the dream, I was so happy, and I was like telling my sister in the dream, like, come, look, Claire's doing like a live stream. She's back. And then I woke up and I was so sad because it wasn't true. I was like, no, why would my mind do this to me? Why would my mind give me hope that Claire has returned? But yeah, that was my dream. I always have weird dreams. I also had a weird dream last night about being in a cult with like weird baptisms and teenage boys chasing me. I don't know. I have really weird dreams. I've been told that I should go see like a dream specialist, like psychologist, and see what they think of my dreams, because, you know, you hear about dream psychology and you think, okay, this dream tells you that you're stressed or you have this going on in your life. But I'm like, what does me dreaming about cults have anything to do with my psyche? I don't know. Maybe they'd figure something out. Maybe they'll say, this shows something very deeply about childhood trauma or something like that. I do think it's kind of a little bogus. You know, we don't know enough about dreams to like really understand anything. I'm going off on a weird tangent. Right now I am doing the like entrance to the bar. It's not really an entrance because the bar is upstairs. But down in this corridor we have like the trash cans and a bunch of different pipes, and it's just kind of your grungy area of the bar. Like the bar isn't really until you get upstairs. And I finished the bookstore. It is my favorite place in the lot. It's so small and cozy and warm, and it feels autumnal, and it will feel even more autumnal when I add the Halloween decorations, I think. There's not really much room for Halloween decorations now that I look at it, but I will be adding some. I'll be adding like banners outside. I'll also be doing not just Halloween decorations. There's also going to be Thanksgiving decorations because, you know, you have the entire 2 weeks in the game to solve the mystery, and that includes experiencing both Halloween and Harvest Fest during those 2 weeks. Unless you solve it way before those 2 weeks, which I don't know if it's possible, You might be able to solve it before Thanksgiving or Harvest Fest. I don't think so, though. I know you can, like, get the ending where you don't solve the case before the end of the 2 weeks. Before, probably even within 1 week, honestly. If I think about it. You know, I haven't completed the case file yet, so I don't know for sure if that is a truth. But based on what I'm remembering I have so far, I think you can get the unsolved ending far before the 2 weeks are over. And, you know, this is set up so that you can replay it if you get an unsolved ending. You can be like, okay, play it again. You could either, I don't know how it would work. You could either use cheats, like, I know UI cheats allows you to change which week it is, which season it is. So you could use that to reset it back to the original. Or you can just completely download the save file again and do it that way. That's fine as well. But as we go on, I'm going to kind of have a similar mechanic in where the seasons dictate the mystery. So obviously after fall, the next one will be winter. I don't know which world I want to do yet for winter, but I will be doing one. Maybe, actually, the Snowy Escape world could be really fun for winter. I might do that. But, you know, each world I have planned is going to do 2 weeks to solve each mystery, and you kind of do it in order. So you start with Haven's Hollow because the world will start in fall, and then maybe you move to like whatever Snowy Escape is going to be, and you do that in winter. That's the idea. But, you know, right now I'm just going to focus on Haven's Hollow. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to get it ready, get the case file ready so that everyone can, you know, play this save file if they wish. I feel like it's kind of a specific niche having like the mystery solving save file. I keep mixing up the two. Because, you know, this world, sure, could be fun to just play in for fun, but I have like all the objects that are mystery specific, and it's made specifically for the case file in mind. So I don't know if it'd be fun to just come in this world and play your normal everyday gameplay, but maybe it would. I am proud of this build, and if the rest of the builds end up looking as good as this one, or even better, because this one's kind of just boxy, if they end up looking better, I think, or like good, I think it could be fun to play in this without the mystery, especially for me, because, you know, I don't get to play the mystery. I made the mystery. I already know what happens. It's not going to be that fun for me. I am going to play test through all the different endings to make sure that you can get to the endings and play through within the 2 weeks. But I think it might be fun to just play this for normal gameplay purposes. You don't have to play it for the mystery, but I am really proud of the mystery so far. I think it's gonna be fun. You know, I've put a lot of thought into it. As I said, I am a mystery writer myself. I'm working on my own mystery novel, and I'm about probably 3/5 of the way through writing it. So, you know, this is kind of my passion. This is what I like doing. Writing mysteries, creating, you know, these intricate details that you can uncover. I do like that it's a little more interactive than a novel. You know, I love writing my novel. I adore it. I find it so fun to create this mystery, put out like steps or like little hints about what this mystery is, who done it. But I think it is a little more interesting and fun to have this like interactive element to a mystery. You know, mystery books are all good and fun, but this just seems a little exciting. I don't know, I've really enjoyed this. I've had so much passion for it so far. I've been working on it during my free time. But anyways, I've rambled on long enough. I think I'm just about done with the bar, and as far as that goes, this is the end of the build. Let me know what you guys think, and Like, tell me if you think it's very pretty or terrible and you hate it. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you're interested in seeing more of the Haven's Hollow save file. And if you have any ideas for it, please leave them. I'm like so open to hearing what you guys have to say about it. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.